Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a part 2 of the PCSing to Ansbach, frequently asked questions, what you should know, all the things. I asked some people on Instagram to ask me questions, so we're gonna go through those, or just like things that they wish they had known when they moved here. We're gonna go through that. We're gonna go through some of my questions that I've gotten on YouTube, and then just some of the things that I have thought about over time after that last video that I wanted to add on to. So if you like videos like these, don't forget to click that subscribe button down below. I also make regular vlogs, travel vlogs. Subscribe before we get started, and let's get this going before the thunderstorms start and you won't be able to see me anymore. So I'm gonna cut this into categories this time because last time I just kind of like said a bunch of stuff. So we are gonna start by before you get here, a couple of the things that you need to know when you get here. Then we're gonna talk about housing and a couple little things that I forgot to talk about in the last video. If you have not seen the last video and you're like, what the heck are you talking about? Go right here and watch that video first because I start from the beginning. Disclaimer, just like last time, please join the Facebook page because there's so much information in the files tab. There's also a search feature on Facebook groups where you can type in housing and then it'll come up with like all these posts, whatever you need to know. I promise you someone has asked that question before, and it may not be recently, but someone has asked that question before. So join the Facebook page first, right now. I had a couple questions about packing. So let's chat about packing. First, you should know household goods is like your whole house, what they pack up, and they take all your stuff and bring it over here. Before your household goods is taken, you can do unaccompanied baggage. I'll be honest with you, we didn't do that. We only had household goods. We did not even have the option of unaccompanied baggage. Don't know if that was like the moving company we worked with in Colorado or what, but we didn't have unaccompanied baggage. Everything just left and came at once. But from what I know, it's like a smaller amount of things that they take first that you will get first when you arrive to your new duty station. They're like more your essential items that you need. So I would put things like small appliances that you use really often, maybe some extra clothes if you want to put that in there. It's just kind of like your essentials that will get you through until your household goods get here. Does that make sense? For an overseas move, you will have a company that moves it for you. I know whenever you can move throughout the States, you can do a Diddy move where you do it by yourself, but you can't do that to move overseas. So keep that in mind. You will have movers come and do that for you. Essentially, a company will be hired through the Army that will come and pack up all your stuff. My advice with that is pick a room in your house that you're not planning on moving stuff from. Like if you're planning on either selling stuff, leaving stuff, trashing stuff, taking it with you, like actually in your own bag, like on the plane, put it in a separate room if you can, or like a separate area to be able to say like, hey, this is the space that we don't need things moved from, so that you can kind of section that off and do that. And then they will come in, keep an eye on everything. What I did is keep a list of like high value items, take pictures of them for records, things like that. And whenever they are moving stuff, they will take note of conditions of things. So just make sure you go through that with your movers and that you're on the same page with everything that way. If you have more questions about that, I can try and include that in a bigger video or like a big section of the next part that I'm gonna do if I need to do a next part. Things that you should take with you in your actual bag, like your luggage that you take with you on the plane. Stuff like shower curtains, towels, blankets, sheets, a shower filter if you're gonna buy one. We have hard water here, so if you do, want to buy one before you get here, I would go ahead and pack that in your luggage. Pillows, toiletries, clothes. A lot of people recommend enough clothes for 2 weeks, but a lot of times household goods takes longer than that. You will need to rewear clothes, like obviously. You don't have to quarantine anymore, so things are a little bit different. Like you could just go to the PX and get toiletries, but obviously just in case, I would recommend bringing enough toiletries for a few days. Vacuum seal bags were my best friend when we moved here, so I highly recommend them. We vacuum sealed everything nice and tight in our bags. So we each had one large bag and then one carry-on sized bag, I believe. I'm not 100% sure though. So just, it'll say it in your orders though, what you're allowed. So if you remember nothing from this packing part, do not pack your important documents. I would even go so far to say, don't put your important documents in a checked bag. Keep it in your carry-on, keep it with you all the time, because especially your orders and things like your passport and your IDs, stuff like that, you need it to be able to like get over here. So it's kind of common sense, but my recommendation is to keep all of your important documents, make copies of birth certificates, make copies of marriage certificates, make copies of passports, like photocopy, of your passport, social security card, all of that in your PCS binder, and don't pack. As in, like, don't send off your important documents with the moving company. Don't do that. You need your important documents. All right, so now that you've packed and everything's moved, your arrival. So I have a whole video, I'll link it right here, about like a story time type thing of like how our move went. But essentially, once you get your flights, if you're going with, I think it's Patriot. I don't know, I'll put it on the screen. I don't remember. We had to fly with them, so we flew from Dallas because we had to drop our car off in Dallas. That's a whole nother thing. If you want to know about that, let me know. I can include it in part 3. We dropped our car off in Dallas. We flew from Dallas to Baltimore. We were there for like a little less than 24 hours. And then we flew from Baltimore to Ramstein, which is, like I talked about in the last video, it's like the big base here where you fly into. And then there's a shuttle that goes from Ramstein, their airport, whenever you check in and go through all your document forms and all that. You take the shuttle from Ramstein to Ansbach and it'll drop you off, and then you can have your sponsor pick you up and take you to your house. So I think this is different from a lot of other posts, but it's likely that your housing will be available as soon as you get here. If you do not have a sponsor by the time you are leaving the US to come here, that is a major problem. You should be assigned a sponsor. If not, I would reach out to your gaining unit and see what the heck's going on. You need a sponsor when you get here. You can't do very much without it. So that's how you get your housing before you get here. So if you have not heard anything from a sponsor and you're coming somewhat soon, I would figure out what you can do about that. You will get to your apartment, if it's already set up for you, because it should be, with government furniture already, so nothing fancy at all. It does its job. The stuff like plates, silverware, cups, mugs, toaster, microwave, cutting board, knives, all the things you can get from the lending closet. Our sponsor did that for us, so because we were in quarantine, I think you can do it yourself now, but that's how you'll get by until your household goods get here. Now that you're here, there's a couple things that don't apply in the US and things that you would need to know about here. So one thing is rations. So we are given gas rations, tobacco rations, alcohol rations, and coffee rations with the German government. The most common thing that you will use rations for is gas. We have a gas station on post, and every single month you're allotted a certain amount of gas. We pay a lower rate than what's off post, so that's why it's rationed to us. It's not usually a problem. The only time it's ever been a problem for us is when we are driving, like doing road trips a lot, like when people come visit and we're going to the airport a lot, things like that. I think we may have only hit it once or twice in the 3 years that we've lived here, so it's usually not a big deal. The rations for alcohol, tobacco, and coffee only apply on post as well. You can buy as much as you want off post, so I would recommend, if you don't want to get a rations card, just buy your coffee, alcohol, and tobacco off post. Your rations card for gas is through Esso, which is a brand here that you can buy gas at off post as well. So you have an Esso card that you use on post, like you have to register for it, and that's your rations card to be able to buy it on post. And then you still have the same amount of rations off post with lower rate of gas, if that makes sense. So if you go off post, you'll pay a lower rate as well if you have money on your Esso card. So on your Esso card, there's a number on the back and you just call it and you say, it's like a machine. So you just type in your card number, type in how much you want to add to it, and then you like type in your credit card number, and then it adds it to the Esso card. So whenever you go to get gas off post, you will just hand over your Esso card and they will use that to pay for your gas. But you have to make sure that you have enough on it to cover all of what you're paying for. Think of it almost like a gift card. You're taking it, you're filling it up, and when you go off post, it has to have that amount on it to be able to pay that rate for gas at that gas station. And it has to be an Esso station. It can't be just any gas station. So now we're talking about gas, driving, the Autobahn. A lot of people are misinformed about the Autobahn. It is just a road. It's just like a highway in the States. There's just sections of it that are no speed limit, but the recommended speed limit is 120. There are speed limits still on the Autobahn. So it's just like a highway. It's just a little faster because there is no speed limit sections. And in those sections, if you are not wanting to go super fast, you just stay to the right. If you are in the left lane and someone is coming up behind you at 200 kilometers per hour, they will not move. You need to move. Like, they will go as close as humanly possible to your car until you move. If you are not passing someone, just stay in the right lane and you'll be good. 2 more category things. things. VAT forms. So a VAT form is essentially a way to get tax-free items off post. VAT is usually added on to purchases, and I believe it is 19%. A lot of people use them to buy pieces of furniture, things like tires for your cars. We used a VAT form for it. What you do is you will go visit the VAT form office in the PX. It's like the MWR little like round desk. You'll go up there when they're open. You purchase it in groups, like in bulk, I guess. I think you can buy 10 and they will run through it with you of like, this is what you do. But you will take that with you before you make the purchase to, you know, the auto store, the auto place, whatever. And you will make the purchase with your VAT form with you. They will fill out their section. Some places they will already take off your 19% and then you'll just pay tax-free. Or some places will say, when this gets approved, like come back and we will give you a refund. Not all places take VAT, so don't expect that you're gonna be able to use it anywhere. Once you've made that purchase, you will take that form with the signature filled out with your receipt. You will take it to the VAT office again and turn it in. My recommendation is if you're turning it in for the first time, do it when they're open so that they can run through things if you messed up on something. There is also a place to turn it in when they're closed, like a little drop box. But my recommendation again would be to go when they're open just to make sure everything is good with your form. You'll turn it in and you'll either get a refund from the place or you will have already paid a tax-free amount. Some people use it for groceries. If you need more information on that, just DM me on Instagram because it's kind of complicated. The next couple of things that I want to share, it's all in like housing category. I hate to emphasize this again, but unless you are a civilian contractor, a single officer, you are living on post. There's very, 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 very slim chance that you get approved to live off post, because in order for people to live off post, we have to fill up 95% of housing, and that's just not happening. If you were looking for a house off post, I believe there's a Facebook page that you can join that helps with that. I will try to find it and put it down in the description box for you. Another thing you have to do is recycle. It is law in Germany to recycle, and we have recycling on post. So my recommendation, we did this and love it. We got these IKEA bins that stack on top of each other, and we just put like aluminum, plastic, paper, glass all in our pantry, and it's just easy, and we just stack it, and then whenever it gets full, we take it out to the bins. And it's great. In your housing guidebook, there should be a graphic that shows you exactly what goes in what bin. Beware of that. You will need to recycle. I know people don't, but I'm a rule follower, okay? If there's one thing about me, it's that I follow the rules. So we recycle because it's free. In the States where we lived, it was not. So recycle while it's free. Also, fun fact about recycling, if you are recycling off post, which you shouldn't have to, but if you do, you're not supposed to recycle glass on Sundays because it's too loud. Speaking of that, there are a lot of interesting laws in Germany. Since it's summertime, I will mention one of the laws that is great. Bees and wasps and hornets are protected, which means that if you kill them, you can be fined. So it's a fun time around here because anytime there's a bee and we're in public, it's like everyone's just kind of like, don't touch it. There's a lot of interesting laws in Germany. I could make a whole video about it. I'm gonna leave you with this because this is a little funny and a little bit lighthearted. When you're cooking in your house, especially stairwells, use the vent. We learned the hard way multiple times because it will go off, your fire alarm will go off, and it is so loud. And not only that, but because the way this is set up, our neighborhood, I guess you could say, is set up, everybody knows that it's you that set off the fire alarm. Your neighbors up and down, over to the side, everyone can hear it in your building, and then the fire trucks come with the sirens on for a fire alarm. So fun fact. What a fun thought to end on. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a long one again, but let me know if you want a part 3 because I can just talk about and answer questions all day long about Ansbach. So let me know. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.